Facebook and YouTube. This is Ken Cusey. How's it going? Thursday afternoon. Stuck in traffic. All the traffic isn't too bad, but the sun and the glare is in my eyes. That's okay because it's nice and warm today. So essentially I'm going to do 3 videos today. I'm going to do one portion of it here on my telephone. I'm going to do one portion of it in 4K video and one portion of it in 1080p high resolution video. And what I want is to see if anyone notices the difference. I'm not going to tell you which is which. Well, you'll know that this is on my phone because I'm driving and my phone is mounted. But if you can see a difference between the 3 videos as far as the quality, let me know. If you don't, that tells me something. It tells me that the YouTube quality and most computers or however devices are looking at my vlog on, the 4K 1080p or the phone 1080p or whatever high definition we're on with this, may be very limited in differentiation, and very few people, from what I understand, have true 4K resolution on a television. If you have a Mac, especially the better Macs or the iMacs, you may have 4K or 5K resolution on your monitors. So in that case, you'll probably see the difference. But if you're using anything else, any tablet or anything else to view vlog or YouTube or Facebook, you may not notice a difference. So let me know. And also, I have to say this before it's on my mind heavily. My friend at work who came back to work, Megan, we need prayers for her again. I mean, big prayers today. Anyway, thank you. I'm going to do part 2 shortly. Thank you. Hello, Ken Cusey here. Part 2 of my Thursday vlog. So, as you might be aware, I did go to Polano's on Tuesday, took advantage of their really good deal, their half-price meal with any beverage purchase, and it was pretty darn good. And tonight, it's kind of hot out again, and I'd like to grill. I grill, 4 or 5 times a week, and as the temperatures start to rise, I'm going to probably use the grill a lot less. And as I discussed before, I'm going to do 3 parts. The first part was with my camera phone. This part is going to be the 4K video on my Panasonic Lumix G7. And then the final phase will be 1080p with the Lumix G7. I'm just going to see if there's a real difference. I don't know if there is or not. But you tell me and leave your feedback below. Anyway, this is part 2. Hello, this is Ken Cusey, part 3 of the video. This is 1080p. My face probably doesn't look as huge. What happens on the 4K video, it crops me in. In other words, it makes me a little bit bigger because it's using a different part of the sensor. There's different sensor sizes in each camera. The most common cameras are, back in the day, were the 35 millimeter. And the size of that sensor, that's basically the size of the 35 millimeter film. Those cameras are referred to as full frame. Full frame. So if it's the size of a 35 millimeter film, roughly, it's not quite, but it's pretty close. That's a full frame camera. Typically, full frame cameras are for professional use. There are some prosumer, basically people that are really serious hobbyists that use full frame sensors. Typically, full frame sensors on a camera, those cameras are very expensive. Nikon, Canon, Sony, Pentax. Those are the companies that make those cameras. They're very expensive, and they have among the best quality because there's more sensor size, so that the sensor typically can store more data. There's more light in some instances. There's a variety. You've got to watch some videos on YouTube, but typically there's more pixels, more density of the pixels. So there's a lot of reasons why full frame is better and typically used by professionals. The next size down, which is used by a lot of consumers and prosumers alike, is called APS-C. APS-C is slightly smaller than full frame, but many of the camera manufacturers, including Panasonic, well, not Panasonic, but Fuji, again, Sony, Nikon, Canon, and Pentax, use APS-C. It's the next size down from full frame. Still very high quality. It has great pixel density. A lot of people use those cameras for professional and semi-professional work. Nothing wrong with APS-C. Then we get down to micro four thirds. This is what this is. This is micro four thirds. Panasonic, Olympus are the 2 big micro four thirds proponents. It's bigger than any phone camera or any point and shoot camera for the most part, but it is usually pretty good quality, but typically the APS-C or specifically the full frame cameras tend to have a little bit better resolution, but not too bad. And anyway, that's where we're at APS-C. Then there's a handful of cameras that are 1-inch sensors. 1-inch sensors are made by all the major manufacturers for the most part, which are really advanced point and shoot cameras, or they're typically point and shoot. They might have a zoom, they might not have a zoom, but they're typically pretty good cameras, better than the cheapo Canons and Nikons that you see all over the place that are, basically look very plasticky. So 1-inch sensors, Sony's pretty good in that arena. Samsung was going down that path for a while. Nikon and Canon both have 1-inch sensors as well. Then everything below that is probably not even worth mentioning, but they're the typical sensors that you have in the basic affordable cameras, the ones that are very easily purchased. The quality is so-so, the lenses are so-so, and most of those cameras are very plasticky. Then the very smallest sensors typically are in your cell phone. Even though the technology is pretty interesting, the cell phones take the worst pictures. They're great for Facebook and social media, but if you blow them up bigger than that, I promise you the photos aren't very well. But anyway, that's the 3-part, part 3. Thank you and have an excellent day.